I'm William. It's August 31st and I'm drinking a pumpkin flavored drink from Starbucks. And in this video, I'll be making the case for why you should read The Ghostwriter by Philip Roth, which I think is really important, especially if you're a writer. Just know that I will not be giving away anything that happens in the middle or towards the end of this novel so that you can enjoy it for yourself. The most brilliant thing about this novel is that it dives straight into the relationship between a young, promising writer and the established literary icon that he looks up to. And because that dynamic starts straight on page one and carries us through the whole first part of the novel, we get right to what it means to be a writer, what you might have to give up, the sorts of things that it takes to be brave enough to write something that you believe is unapologetically true, what the fallout of that might be. Philip Roth is an extremely acclaimed Jewish American writer. I feel like I don't really have to give him much of an intro, but you might not know much about the Zuckerman novels that he wrote. This one, I think, is the first one where Zuckerman is the main character / narrator, and Zuckerman is a writer. In this novel, Zuckerman has been invited over as a guest to the house of a fictional writer, another fictional writer, I suppose, called E.I. Lonoff, who is based off of a few different people who were real. But for the purposes of this video, all you really need to know is that Lonoff is a very talented but meticulous short story writer. So obviously this novel is about writers and writing, but what I think makes it so important for writers to read is that it really makes you consider what your role in society is as a writer, especially if you're taking on reality, if you're trying to set your stories in modern times. Because what each of the writers in this story, of which there are at least 3, keep running into is that they have some pretty major consequences that they need to deal with in their real lives as a result of their dedication to their craft in one way or another, or how their personality shines through as they play out their fantasies of being a writer. So I'll explain what I mean by that. Lonoff, who is something of a legend in this story, has effectively removed himself from society and only re-enters it when he has to teach a class at a fictional college that's nearby. And otherwise, at home, he's constantly turning sentences over in his head. He has these really long reading sessions that he'll dive into where he cannot be disturbed. And he's been driving his wife crazy for the last 20 or 30 years. Lonoff is juxtaposed with Zuckerman, who has recently written a story that his father in particular, but really his whole family, does not approve of, because like Zuckerman and like Roth, the entire family is Jewish, and the story that Zuckerman has written that they hate so much is based off of a real family argument that got really rough, and it was over money. And so his father really hates the way that Zuckerman is depicting Jews, and he in particular hates that the depiction of this particular argument, this particular fight over money in their family, is accurate in and of itself, but he's just angry that his son can't find a way to show some more positive aspects of the family. But easily the most intriguing character in the story, who I don't want to give too much away about because she is introduced as something of a mystery at the beginning of the story, is a character named Amy Billette. Both Lonoff and Zuckerman, the narrator, find Amy to be fascinating, but Lonoff's wife hates her, and I'll leave it at that. The Ghostwriter is the 5th or 6th Philip Roth novel that I've read. I've read a handful of his short stories as well, and the main thing that I would like you to know about Philip Roth is that he is remarkably consistent. I haven't come across any duds in his work, and that is impressive to me because he'll go on these long kind of excursions in his works. This one is no different, even though it's pretty short. You could finish this in a day if you were really dedicated to it, but more likely a weekend or a week. Even in a novel this short, it's 180 pages. There's still like a 30 or 40 page aside that reads almost like an essay, but it's still really charged and it's really gripping. It's part of the story. And somehow Roth pulls that off. I don't know very many writers who could do that. Usually when a book gets too philosophical or heady, it kind of loses me. My patience usually lasts like 3 to 5 pages with asides like that. And obviously there are exceptions. If you've never read anything by Philip Roth, this is a fine place to start, especially because it's the first in a series of different books that are written by the fictional Zuckerman. And otherwise, if you're completely new to Philip Roth and you're looking for a good place to start, you might go with my personal favorite Roth novel, which is Goodbye Columbus. I suppose that's actually a novella. It's pretty short, even shorter than The Ghostwriter. There are quite a few Roth novels that I haven't gotten to yet, notably The Human Stain. That's one that's up there for me that I definitely want to get to at some point. But a longer Philip Roth novel that you might enjoy, that I personally enjoyed quite a bit, is The Plot Against America, which is historical fiction, and it's done really well. It's super immersive. This is a story that I think every writer should consider reading, and everybody who loves reading literary fiction will also get a lot out of this too. I'm William. If you got something out of this video and you're not already subscribed, consider doing so. I'll be making book-related content indefinitely. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.